Rock stars. There's literally nothing like those wild parties. All I did was drink and party and go to rock concerts. So I got VIP access to a certain very hot rock star's room.
This was getting a little intense for my liking.
What's your problem?
Okay.
Look, bitch, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Hey, come on, you gotta go. I'll call you.
Hey, what would you say if I were to tell you that rock stars like Terry would pay for your attention and you would be a multi-millionaire because of it?
Chastity, the social media influencer and rockstar killer. Maria, from Miami. And Lucy, aspiring actress. Sydney, hip-hop lover and writer, so I'm told. And my quiet one, Mackenzie. Well, hello ladies. I'm Bella. I have a question for everyone. Why do you think rich men cheat? Control.
I'm going home.
Don't go.
Attention.
You bring the total package to the table. You just need the right friends.
Are you my friend?
No, but you can be mine.
And power.
I stuck my neck out for you.
Thank you!
And I pulled the strings to get you onto this show.
Take all three away, and he becomes desperate.
So what's with the apples?
Well, it represents knowledge, wisdom, beauty, and power. Here, you will learn how to gain ownership of all.
I'm gonna send you the money for the ticket, and I already have your room set up at the Palms.
You do that, babe.
Because once you have possession of the apple, no man alive will have power over you.
You make it sound so easy.
Oh, it's not easy.
Brett, look, I'm sorry.
Save it! Save it!
I get no auditions. I'm gonna stop you right there. I get no callbacks.
I really need to get upstairs. They stole all my money.
I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you're no better than the rest of us.
Right now, they have a do not disturb until this afternoon. If they call you, great.
How is he gonna call me if he doesn't?
If not, charge it to the game.
Make no mistake, ladies. In order to succeed in this game, you must be willing to play it out till the very end.
This business is all types of savage.
What are you doing?
But if you follow my blueprints, I guarantee you will become a millionaire within the next 3 years. Possibly way earlier. So, are you ready to take that step?
Another day, another dollar. Ain't about money, don't you holla. 100 miles and racing, man, that money conversation been my only motivation, yeah.
Up, y'all, this is Rayon Lawrence, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Catherine Nunez, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director and the Council on the IE Network.
Real Talk.
Hey, I'm Gina Lou, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hey, what's up? It's Logan Browning, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Real Talk.
Hi, this is Alana De La Garza, and you're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, I'm Diane Franklin from Better Off Dead and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. You're listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
Hi, this is Monique Dupree, and you are watching Real Talk with the Director on Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, I'm Stormy Maya, and you are listening to Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
It's Vicky Jardine. Orange is the new black, and I'm here with Real Talk.
Yo, what up? This is Jay Ellis, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio. Keep it locked.
Hi, I'm Frida Parks, and you're listening to Real Talk Radio with the Director. Hey, I'm Issa Rae, and you're watching Real Talk with the Director on Dollhouse Radio.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And nothing less. What's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Real Talk with the Jedi Council and the Director. I'm the Director. We'll be with you for the next 120 minutes or so. Real Talk's brought to you each and every Monday. Well, every Monday that we're on by B2S Media. We broadcast live via the World Wide Web on youtube.com/IE Network TV. And Facebook, aka Meta. So, welcome back, people. We're back. Had a couple weeks off. Don't call it a comeback. We just we got some stuff to talk about as usual. Funny thing is, there's a lot going on and there's a lot not going on. There's a lot going on that's showing that there's not a lot going on. So, that's one of our major topics today is Marvel or the MCU, are they in trouble? Is the MCU in trouble? I think they kind of are, and I'll tell you why. Also, of course, we'll check in on what's going on with the strike, the writers and the SAG strike, as well as, chime in on that. I know Ralph was out there in LA. He stopped by a couple of spots. He stopped by some picket lines and, fellowship with some people and, get his perspective on that. And then also, yes, trended topics, news is going on, of course, things going on over at Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers decided that they don't want to put any real money into promoting Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom. So the trailer drops and everyone, of course, is appalled, not at the trailer, but at Warner Brothers as usual, because they don't want, why don't you want to promote this film? Oh, it's not going to have nothing to do with the new DCU law and this, that, and the other. And it's like, so what? This was here. It was already made. But, Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers. And I read that they've been losing, I think they've lost the most amount of money, not only on their films, but they've lost money during, this strike has affected them a little bit. So, not a little bit, a lot of it, but it's affected all of the studios. It's just the fact that they got money to wait it out. So, they feel they could outwait the other people, but we'll see how that works out. I've been following the SAG account on IG, and they're always posting stuff. They're still out there. There are people out there doing performances, and people out there just fellowship. And that's not just in LA, it's in New York, wherever the major studios got big offices, LA, New York. I don't know if they're doing anything here, here in Atlanta, because mostly here in Atlanta you have studios, but they might be, I don't know, but they really want to pick it in front of the studio, the studio executive offices, and they go in front of some of the studios because you're right there in California. But I don't know, because you got Tyler Perry. I don't think anyone's gonna pick it in front of Tyler Perry Studios. You got Trilith. Trilith is the second largest studio in the country, in the United States. That's here. So I don't know if anyone's out there trying to do it. I mean, it's just really a studio. It's not owned by Sony or nothing like that. It's a studio and they offer services. So it would be kind of pointless. It's not like the Warner Brothers lot. The Warner Brothers lot is owned by Warner Brothers, but Trilith Studios, Tyler Perry, these are privately owned, not no big studio or like company that owns it, Sony or Warner Brothers and such like that. So we'll see. But they're definitely out there in New York and they're definitely in California. So we'll see how that is. We'll check in on that. And yeah, I mean, other than that, in trending topics, you got this whole thing with Ashton Kutcher, and his wife, Mila Kunis, who supposedly they wrote like a character letter to the judge trying to get some leniency on Danny Masterson, who obviously just got sent up for a whole lot of years for his sexual assault, not really allegations no more. He's been convicted of it. So we'll see. We'll talk. I want to chime in on that a little bit because I have maybe an unpopular opinion about this, and I'll go ahead and say the views expressed by Wes Clark is those of himself and not the views necessarily of Real Talk or YouTube or the IE Network. So just want to throw that out there before I even get to work on it. And that's it, man. So weekend recap real quick. The weekend recap. Let's see. Brought to you by BoxOfficeMojo.com, of course, for the weekend of September 15th through the 17th. Number 5, Barbie. A little old movie named Barbie. You might have heard of it. 3.8 million. Then you got My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. 4.8 million. That's number 4. Number 3 is The Equalizer 3. Denzel Washington and Antoine Fuqua come together again. The reunion of Denzel Washington and Dakota Fanning. That made 7.2 million over the weekend. Little quiet weekend for movies. Most of them have already been in there. New entry is A Haunting in Venice, 14.3 million. And then another new entry for this week is The Nun. It's the most popular of the week. The Nun 2, most popular of the week, 14.5 million. Brings the total, right, just opened, so that is really they did some numbers over it opened earlier this month. Okay, it says release date was September 8th. All right, cool. Yeah, so they did some numbers across seas. All right, cool. Worldwide of $161 million. There you go. So The Nun right now doing Haunting in Venice is the one that just opened, I think, this week. And that is part of that series that's been going on. That's murder mystery, but now they're kind of bringing it to like a murder / horror mystery. But once again, I keep going with this PG-13 stuff, man. It just really, we'll talk about that too. Anyhow, that is your weekend recap for the weekend of September 15th through the 17th, the year 2023. Do want to take this quick opportunity to, it is now the 18th of September. Today is the birthday of my beloved and now late mother, who Inez Clark. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you. I miss you. I need you down here with me and give me some advice, because they niggas just crazy. So yeah, happy birthday to you. Also, shout out happy birthday to our girl Valerie Wong, who is the inspiration for my comic book 7 to 7 and my film series. She's also an actress that I've worked with on numerous accounts. She shares a birthday. She's a great woman, and she shares a birthday with a great woman. So definitely shout out to both of them. Rest in peace, Mom, and live your life, Val. That's that. Cool. So that's how we do, man. I am the director. This is Real Talk. You're watching, and I brought my Jedi Council with me. And if you don't believe me, here they are. Ralph. Yeah. Y'all.
What's up, everybody? Yeah. I had to change it back now. Dark. It's a dark mood, dark times in the Empire.
you gonna start respecting horror films. I don't care if we missed a week. You should have known off the rip that The Nun came out a week ago. Actually, 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, the 8th, yeah. Yeah, well, that's what it is. Not really 2
And it
weeks.
was-
It's been 8 days. And eight, a
and-
little more than 8 days. It's been 10 days, so that ain't 2 weeks yet.
well, in a 5-day work week, it's 2 weeks. But I will say this about The Nun.
Close enough. Close enough.
I will say this about The Nun too. The first Nun, it grew on me after watching it 10 times. I finally started to respect what the other director did. This director nailed it. First shot. This movie should have been first, and then they should have did. Well, they couldn't do it actually in that order because how it ties in with the whole Conjuring series. But man, they nailed it. They nailed this, and this is why I can't. Because I started watching football again. My movie Sundays are over, so I couldn't get to see A Haunting in Venice. But I'm very much
Monday
looking
Night
forward to
Football
that.
on tonight as well.
It's 2 games tonight.
I'll talk to y'all about behind the scenes about the other thing. But people, to all of our, I don't want to lose our audience, but the last couple of weeks that we haven't been on, I've been doing the Mystery Movie Mondays at the Regal Theaters, and man, they never seem to disappoint. It's always a good movie, and it's only $5 and you don't know what you're gonna see. By the way, they literally
they won't tell you.
Mystery movie.
They don't even tell the staff what the movie is because I went there one time and the guy in the movie that he was telling me, I was like, well, what's the movie? He's like, I don't know. We don't know it until it starts on what it is. They think what it is, but they're not 100% sure at all.
Yeah, and you literally don't know what it is until after, they run full trailers and everything before whatever the mystery movie is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, it's about that time now to start going. It's the fall coming in, and that's when usually the horror flicks start dropping. I know the new Exorcist is going to drop on Friday the 13th in October. So yeah, so this is usually how they start rolling these slates out.
And the dope part about this October is on October 1st, they're rescreening The Exorcist again, the original Exorcist.
Good luck. I won't be there, but that's cool. I'll announce it and keep it moving. I'm like, okay, all of y'all want to go see The Exorcist? Peace.
Man, when I was in LA, I had went to Universal Studios. I go there all the time, like to get T-shirts and stuff. And now that was in the middle of already setting up for they call it their Halloween Spectacular. Like they take the whole month of October, and it's all geared towards horror movies. So Universal Studios is actually it's still the backlot. So they'll have the Psycho House and all this stuff. But the two movies that they're pushing, the two things they were pushing for their spectacular this year, one was Stranger Things, right? The other one is this Exorcist movie. They're pushing that as like their showpiece for the season. So they had these T-shirts with, and I really liked it. The white T-shirt and it had a house and these two figures in the front door, and it says evil can't come in or something like that. But the only reason I didn't get it is because it was a white T-shirt and everything else on it was in red. And I was thinking that if it was the other way around, if it was black and the characters were in red, I would have got it, but not with white. But they're already pushing. They already got their theater set up to start playing it. When it comes out, and you will walk around Universal Studios and you just might run into Michael Myers or Chucky walking by saying, "What the hell are you looking at?"
Yeah, no, see, that would be a problem for me. I don't mess with Michael Myers. I see anybody wearing that mask, I'm ready to either run, that's number one choice, or if it just be some random person wearing that mask, we might have to box. So it's one of the two. But either way, I'm not chilling. I you see that a lot in cosplayers at Comic Con, stuff like that. I remember one time when The Walking Dead was really big. I went to Comic Con, New York Comic Con, and that always happens. I might even pop my head in this year if there's any tickets left. Um, because I'm thinking about going up there around. It always happens around my birthday weekend, like the weekend of whatever weekend that is of my birthday, which is October 14th. It's usually New York Comic Con. So this year, I think it actually falls on my birthday. But I went there one time. I think that's the same day that I've met Diane Franklin. I met her at the New York Comic Con, and I remember Walking Dead was big. They had a whole setup outside the Walking Dead. They had the little Winnebago thing that they had, and or trail or whatever that was, and everybody was zombies was out there. And the zombies I took a picture with the zombies. Man, that made me feel uncomfortable. I'm taking a picture with the zombies. I don't like taking pictures with stuff like that, but they were like, "Come on, it's your birthday. Take a picture with the zombie." And they're all like grabbing on me, like, "Ah!" And I'm like, "Yo, I don't like this picture. I don't even think I saved it." I'm like, "Yo, I don't want this picture, man." Same thing when I took one next to Pennywise. Took a picture next to Pennywise at MegaCon in Orlando. It was one of the only things I had time to do because I was actually exhibiting myself there with 7 to 7 comic book. And I was just finally stepped away from my table, took a break. I left some people there watching it. And I went to I saw Pennywise and some a whole setup with them. They're like, "Oh, take a picture. Come take a picture." And I'm just like, "I ain't paying to take no picture with this." And they're like, "No, you're an exhibitor. It's free. Go ahead." I go in there and take a picture. Pennywise.
Yeah, so they always
And
say they be like $20, man.
Yeah, they wasn't getting that out of me. I'd be like, "Look, nah, I left that in Derry, so let me go get it." So, but yeah, man. Oh, shout out to the chat room, of course. Joseph Tan always holding us down. Thank you, Joseph. I know he's put in welcome back, crew. Welcome back, Kev. Welcome back. Yeah, he's just throwing everybody shout outs there. Thank you very much, Joseph. We appreciate you for always holding it down with us here. And he did ask a question. He said, "Why is the MCU in trouble?" Well, I'm gonna get a little more in depth in it, but I might as well jump into it a little bit. Well, and this is my opinion, of course, but yeah, I do believe it is somewhat headed for trouble because of the simple fact that there's a lot of stuff that they do not have in the can, and that's from the result of a couple things: COVID pushing things back, then now post COVID, then they had their own troubles with Disney. Bob Chapek stepping down or getting fired, whatever you want to call it. Bob Iger coming back to try to right the ship. Things getting, stuff that Chapek has set up. Iger is cutting, and they're doing like a whole little overhaul and things like that. So all of these things. Then you want to talk about, the things going on with Jonathan Majors. They kind of like, and hopefully he's about to come out of that. Okay. But that did slow some things up with him. So they only have Loki. Loki's in the can. Loki season 2. I'm not sure if they actually put Echo in the can. Echo was scheduled to come out in January of 2024, but I don't think they finished shooting that because now obviously the SAG-AFTRA strike and the the Writers Guild strike is in full effect. It's still going on, so now they can't do nothing. So it was like unfortunate circumstance after unfortunate circumstance, and that's what I mean, Joseph. By they're a little in trouble. They're headed for trouble if nothing else, because they were forced to push Secret Wars back like another 2 years, which I'm not mad at because they need time to tell it properly. They need time to introduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. So I'm not mad at them pushing back Secret Wars. I'm not mad at anything that they're pushing back, but I'm just saying it is going to be a little bit, and I don't know. I think Iger, every time he spoke on this situation since he has been back to Disney, I think he kind of, I don't say he likes it, but I think he's kind of okay with taking a break a little bit. Not too much of a break, but a break where, because he's still trying to reformat and recalculate how they want to do their rollout. Because the original rollout is definitely null. And when I mean I mean the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And of course, Kevin Feige does run that, but Bob Iger is the end. He makes the final decisions when it comes to that stuff. And he definitely has said on numerous occasions that it's just this didn't work out the way they wanted to, or way they maybe thought it might. Meaning, when I say this, I mean the streaming. They're like, hey, we're Disney, we can just jump into this streaming game and kill it. Why not? And yeah, they are Disney, and they can jump in the streaming game, which they did. And they haven't exactly killed it. They had a good little quick, run in the beginning, but to sustain it is what's the problem. A lot of people that I know personally, canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions. That's why they had to keep rolling out different specials, different bargains. And they got like for $20 you can get Disney Plus, Hulu, and like ESPN Plus all wrapped up in one package. Now that's a good deal. $20. That's actually the one that I have. They had to keep doing stuff like that, and now they're implementing the what's that, the ad-based version for like less money or whatever. But the bottom line is Iger is not pleased with how things have turned out on Disney Plus. He feels like they're spending way too much money there. Because Marvel has a standard, right? So you can't be looking at the Marvel stuff and it's like, oh, this is crappy. Oh, the CGI is crappy. Like, they got to spend the money, right? And some of it's still not that great when it comes out, but it's way better than it would be, if it was a smaller studio. But he feels like all of those things they got slated might be a little overkill, and it's just it's spending a lot of money, and Disney got their own problems outside of the MCU. They got problems with the park that's going on as far as, financially. Nothing. Let's not get it twisted, people. We all know Disney is far, far, far from in financial trouble. They are. Financial trouble to them is like what's going on with them now, them losing money based on whatever. That's always financial trouble in business. But Disney's not closing their doors no time soon. We all know that. They make enough money from the park alone to sustain their company.
That's why they're selling ABC.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna, what you call it, actually Byron Allen made a play for ABC. He made a play for it. I don't know. They're probably not gonna sell it to him, but he wants to buy the NBC television networks because Disney is kind of not seeing the value. This is another Bob Iger revelation, right? Or he's not seeing the value in a television network anymore because no one really watches television like that. So he's they're considering selling off the ABC part of Disney. So the television,
it worked when it was going hand in hand back in the day when we were watching TV. I think that was around the time when Disney bought ABC. And because I remember when a whole bunch of Disney stuff just started popping up, like on the the afternoon movie that would come on after Edge of Night. And this is back in the 80s, I think, late 70s, 80s. And the model, the regular television model is just not, they spent off with Freeform and all of that stuff. So I kind of sort of agree with them a little bit. I can understand that the television model is not really working anymore, especially
not profitable anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now, I think now the fact that they're starting to implement ads on streaming, I think now it's like, what's the point of keeping television? Because that was really like the main reason for keeping a television network, structure, because of the ads. You still make the money from that and stuff like that. But it's like, why are we doing this if we already, we have the streaming that people, and we can set up on our platform of streaming if you want to watch live TV. That's probably what they're going to end up doing. Where it's like, well, you can watch live TV from here if we decide to have a live TV thing, because they still got ESPN, they still got stuff like that. So, and Byron Allen made a play for it. I think he offered, what did he offer? It was like couple billion. He offered to buy it for. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be the one to bring this up, but Byron Allen, as good as he is, and is excellent he's been doing, I just don't think Disney would sell that to him.
Nope.
I just don't think they'll sell it to him. Just like Viacom is not going to sell BET to Tyler Perry. He had the money, then they raised it's like you move the goalposts, right? You had here's the 50-yard kick, and you move back the goalposts.
Well, let me say something about Viacom. See what a lot of people don't know is when I forget the couple's name, but the black couple that when they sold. First of all, the reason why they got rid of BET, the reason why they sold it, is because of the and part of the reason just because of the money that was offered, but also because of the advertising dollars. They weren't getting the same money that, say, MTV. Like MTV would get, $5,000 for, and I'm just speaking out of pocket, but
yeah, you just use that as an example. If they was to get 5, BET would get 250, 25 and whatever.
Maybe less than that, depending on the commercial and depending on who it was. But at any rate, when they sold it to Viacom then turned around and wanted to sell it, but they're selling it for overpriced. They were selling it for I think they wanted it was I forget the exact number, but it's in the billions. But the price that they want for it is more than what it's actually worth. And
of course,
that's the reason, and that's the reason why that's the reason why a lot of people, and that's the reason why they pretty much took it off the market, is because they couldn't pull one over on people. They thought they was going to be able to pull over the fact that it's black television, so we're going to get these people to buy it, and and somebody's going to be stupid enough to catch for us selling it overpriced, and at the same time that you're not going to be able to get the ad revenue that you're supposed to be getting from it. But on top, I said all that to say is ABC and ABC. I think Disney is a little bit different than Viacom. I think they would sell to Byron Allen as long as Byron Allen got the money to pay for it, because Disney is like green is green.
He offered $10 billion for it. He offered them $10 billion for it. So we have to see what's going to come out of that. But back to the Viacom thing, also, in my opinion, I'm going to keep it 100. They also did not want to sell that to Tyler Perry, because that actually makes Tyler Perry 100% self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
If they sell Tyler Perry, BET, or any other, that's a distribution outlet. Then at that point, what does Tyler Perry need anyone from the industry for? because he has his own place where he can produce his stuff. He already writes, directs, and all that other stuff. So he has his own facility to actually produce the film. And then you will give him an actual distribution outlet that he owns. And also, whether it was Byron Allen or Tyler Perry, which I felt they should have came together and did it. But if it was Byron Allen and Tyler Perry, what you just said, Kev, was 100% right. However, I believe at that point, they would be able to get the ad revenue from companies that support black people because they're black owners.
They probably absolutely would. But
I think that's another thing they look at. That would put Tyler Perry in another stratosphere. I just think for them to change the price at the like in the 11th hour, that was whack. To me, that shows you just don't want to sell him BET. But BET would be back in the clutches of a black owner. Hasn't been since Bob Johnson sold it.
Bob Johnson, right? The Johnsons, right?
I'm gonna be honest.
But I'm sorry, Ralph. I just want to say this one thing. But here's the thing. I just want to reiterate this. The price that they wanted, that Viacom was trying to sell BET for, nobody was biting because they was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? This is what the Johnsons sold it to you for. Now you trying to that's not it. And it was well above. They overplayed their hand because they thought, and in my opinion, well, not just in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, and some economists' opinion too, they thought that if it's black entertainment. Now the whole DEI and all the stuff that's going on with blackness and black content, they probably figured like somebody's gonna bite and take this, and they just gonna take it just to have it, just to be like, I own BET. That don't mean nothing. Right. If I got to spend the next 10 to 15 years trying to dig myself out of a financial hole.
Yeah, but see, this is my thing with the Viacom deal and Tyler Perry. I'm actually glad Tyler Perry didn't buy it, because the truth of the matter is, and whether people want to say it or not, BET today has no value. It has none. Right. So yes, it does help Tyler Perry a lot. Now he got distribution. He very well may no longer
he brings value to it.
Yeah, he very well may not need Lionsgate again. But then again, on the flip side of that, Tyler Perry owns BET. All the stuff on BET would be a Tyler Perry owned production. And I'm sorry, Tyler Perry fans that's watching, but Tyler Perry's productions, with the exception of Medea, are iffy at best. Meet the Browns. He wouldn't do that
though. He's a really good businessman. I don't think he would just turn BET to the Tyler Perry network. Because if that's the case, he could just start his own.
I agree. And I will hope that wouldn't be the case. But in order for you to have a television company, that's what you own. You gotta diversify. What else? The old BET under the Johnsons, all right. You certainly it was dealt with a lot of videos, video shows, so all the basement, all this stuff. But you also
gone now,
right? But you also had, like, during football season, they would show historically black college football games. You had Teen Summit. You had a bunch of other things in there. And
this is the things that they want to bring back, I believe. Go ahead.
But I mean, the music, I don't see music videos coming back to any type of relevancy ever again. I just don't see that coming.
That's gone. That's the past.
Right. So you bring back historically black colleges, you put their football games. Okay, that's September to early December. Okay, right. you do that one.
If it had Byron Allen would have did that, it would have definitely came back, because he has that whole HBCU network.
Right. Then what else did BET? What else did BET have one that we could like you had the news program?
Like shows, they wouldn't bring back shows like 106 & Park, but I could see them bringing back, or not bringing back, but see them putting like more talk shows on, maybe a daytime talk show, get a couple of celebrities, black celebrities, and give them a talk show, something like that. Maybe another like a teen summit type of because debate shows, things like that are very popular today. I can see them doing that. I can see them stepping up their game and having some sort of like podcast that they put on there. I believe there's a lot that can be done with BET that will actually excite the black consumer to come back to BET. Because what I say about come back is because, and then of course you got the hip hop market that you could tap into and really lean into that to bring, to bring that, keep that, or because right now that market only comes to BET to watch the hip hop awards or whatever. So you can lean into that.
No. That part I'm gonna tell you why, because many of us that looked at the last hip hop award said this is trash. It was looked at the last Source Award said this is trash. It is
but
now
once again, Ralph,
been
you have an opportunity. If you're Tyler Perry, you have an opportunity to possibly, because you don't just throw that away. That's a moneymaker. But what you can do is you have an opportunity to fix it or tweak it. That's why Diddy was interested.
Wait. Hold on. Right? The show itself. Wait a minute. The show itself is not trash. The talents that are there, that's the trash. That's something you can't fix. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't fix that one. You
can't fix that because that's
even
who's
just
selling.
Last week with the, they ain't well. That's another whole discussion about the music business. But
I mean, that is what's selling, though, Ralph. Let's be honest. I mean, that's what's selling. That garbage, the trash. And I agree with you. I'm not,
you can't fix that.
90% of the artists out there, you can't change that. That's what sells to this generation.
But here's to kind of stay on topic. The main thing is like what Wes was saying, that what Tyler Perry would bring to it is a level, or Byron Allen would bring a level of class, because a lot of people say, it's kind of funny how BET and MTV are owned by the same company, but it's two totally. If you look at the MTV Music Awards and you look at the BET Awards, I'm gonna be honest with you, not since Beyonce have I been impressed. Since that one year that Beyonce was on there, was I impressed with the BET Award?
I totally agree. I'm honestly, the last BET Awards that I really thought was good, and I know it's going to sound crazy, but was the 2 years at the year Michael Jackson died and the year after when Jamie Foxx was the host. Those were very well done shows. But since then, and I'll throw Beyonce up in here. But since then, the quality has just been going down.
And you're talking about the quality of the talent, not the quality of the production.
Yeah, because the award show is the award show. You're not going to change you're not going to change the layout of the award show. All you ever do is change the talent that comes.
Yeah,
right.
And you can still do that though. You can change the order as well. Like meaning you can do things because remember, there's a lot of black talent out there that's just not getting spotlight. They're not getting the spotlight. So maybe you can push more of a spotlight on some of these talented artists and give them a platform. Maybe you can change change the order around sometimes. Could help the show itself, because you ain't got a bunch of ratchet on top of ratchet on top of ratchet. And between there, maybe you got a couple of other things going on. And then you can't completely cut out the ratchet, because that is what sells to this generation. So that you can't.
That's
do that.
true. Like I was just watching the MTV thing last week, and they were talking about the girl. I don't know why she got named Suki with the good coochie that was on the red carpet. And she said, she even said they knew what they were getting when they invited me to come. They knew it.
So she using that as an excuse to be ratchet. They knew what they were getting when they invited me to come. That's exactly what she did when she was out over in the UK.
How many award shows had? Right. How many award shows in the last 9 months have we seen where you have had some of the female talents that are quote unquote rappers? They in there with Crocs on. They got this stack of fake money in their hand, throwing it up, just twerking all over the place. And then you got the guys coming there with their pants hanging off their ass, talking about hubba, money, hubba. Like, like I'm just saying, you know, obviously we're not going to go back to the 80s and 90s. That's just. Yeah.
But I mean, you won't be successful if you do that. You know, unfortunately, yeah, we're not in the 80s and 90s no more. We're in this years, and you could still shine light. Now, at that point, maybe you could bring back like a throwback type of show. You know what I'm saying? Bring back shows from those eras that people loved, like you said, like a Teen Summit. You know, bring that show back. That show will be relevant show in every year.
I agree, but when you say like BET, Black Entertainment Television, it was built on the music part. That's the part that's missing.
Well, I mean, you have to. It's changed though. That's you have to evolve, and I wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing not a throwback show, but hey, the point is people don't really watch. I would too. But the majority isn't, because why am I paying a premium to get BET to watch videos where I could jump on YouTube and see all the videos for free when I want to see them? I don't have to wait for nobody to play them. I just watch them. So the whole video game is dead as far as that goes.
But you know something? What I would have did if I was now the guys, I would have did is basically what Taylor Swift did. I would have broke the deal with Beyonce, and I would have had her concert on my TV network. That's what I would have did. That's one thing I would do. I would
try to do that. Yeah,
I would try to do that.
That would make sense. I mean, you could do that with. I mean, you could do that with a lot of big artists. Let's just say, I mean, obviously Beyonce is the top of the chain. But let's just say you couldn't get Beyonce. You could do that. You could kind of do that with. Other big artists,
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely, to repeat what Kev said, Byron Allen and Tyler Perry would definitely bring another level of class back to BET. Because let's be honest, even when Bob Johnson just got rid of it and in between all that stuff, BET was catching a lot of flack even back then because they were showing, because let's not act like Ratchet just let's not act like. Right. Let's not act like Ratchet has just, been born. I mean, you still had Ratchet stuff back then that was showing. Then they started doing BET Uncut, where it just started getting a little too off the chain. And, it was just a little bit, at that point, it was like, come on, man. So instead, they started focusing on Black foolishness as opposed to Black excellence. So, there's plenty of things that they could go, and Tyler knows everybody. He knows some of the biggest Black, you could bring in more shows again, sitcoms. Of course, he has his stuff that's already on there. You can bring in more shows, bring in some animated shows, shows like Ada Twist Scientist, which is on Netflix. That is executive produced by the Obamas. You know what I'm saying? It's a great show. The Black girl, she's a scientist, and this, that, and the other. All the Black people on that show. Nobody's poor. They're the leads of the show, right? Ada Twist Time. My daughter watches it all the time. She always watched it. And shows like that, get them. Come over to BET, man. Or even stuff like the Motown one. Motown Magic. That's another one. That show. These are positive, showing young Black characters in a positive light. I believe that would be the goal, to recapture the essence of BET when it first came out. Get that? It's like a relaunch, a rebirth, and they would be able to do it. But the bottom line is, and I'm not going to spend no more time on this, but the bottom line is Viacom saw that coming. And I think that's why ultimately they didn't sell it to them, because they literally changed, even though it was overpriced. Tyler Perry was coming to the table to buy it, and they upped it on him. That's fishy to me. You know, you come to the table with the money, with the price, the asking price, or whatever the case may be, and then they change it and up it. So it's just crazy. We'll see what happens with that. But you know, back then they talked about Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, Sean Diddy Combs. They all was bidding for it. Right. Let's a good segue. Let's talk about that real quick. I know Diddy is more of a music guy, but I just want to bring this up. There is a video that's circulating of what is her name from Danity Kane?
Aubrey
Aubrey.
O'Day. And
Aubrey
she
O'Day.
absolutely right. She
Yeah,
absolutely right.
she talks about, so obviously for those who may not know, Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Puffy Combs, Love, whatever you call him. Now he keeps changing his name. He recently gave back all of his artists publishing and masters to them. So he he gave it back, all of his artists that, you know, for years complained that he did not he held their publishing.
He's robbing them.
He's finally gave it all back to them. Now, of course, let's keep it real. Diddy had a roll. That's part of his rollout. He just released an album that actually is pretty good, but because it's got a lot of people on it. It's got a lot. That's Diddy. He brings artists together and puts out albums. So, and right now I only heard a few songs off it, but they were pretty good. And I'm hearing, like when you look at the lineup that he has on there, is really, really pretty good. But anyway, so Aubrey O'Day, from Danity Kane, is, she was in an interview and she was basically kind of calling him out, saying, "Listen, I'm not signing this thing because, when you get these back, you have to sign like this waiver that basically says you can't disparage Diddy at any time ever." Plus other stuff that's in there. And she was like, she's like, it's not worth much right now. It's worth a few $100, maybe $800-900 a year. The catalog is worth. So she's like, I'm urging people from the group not to sign it, but it's up to you, but I'm not signing it. And someone else, Mark Curry, what was his Mark something, that other rapper, he didn't really do much on Bad Boy, because what people don't know is, I used to be in the music scene, so Bad Boy signed a lot of artists to their label that just got shelved and never came out.
Yep.
A lot. I knew a couple of them personally that was like had deals with Bad Boy. Kane Siafi was one of them. He's from Long Island, white kid, could spit. He was nice. He's no Eminem, but he was nice. And he was on Bad Boy. He got signed to Bad Boy, had even got a check from Bad Boy, and never came out. But this guy was Mark something. I forget his name. Or something Curry. I don't remember his name. I don't want to say Mark Curry. That's like the comedian. But anyway, he said similar stuff. He said the catalogs are not worth anything at this point. And here's another nugget to people out there who may not know. Diddy still gave back the catalogs earlier than he probably had to, because there is something called the 30-year rule, where the artist does get their catalog back,
it
or at least their
automatically
publishing
goes back
back, automatically goes back to them after 30 years. If you don't give it to them, it goes back to them after 30 years. That's
and
a very long time.
It's 35 now. I think it changed.
Well, now they don't upped it. Jesus. So so he gave it back to him a little early. Yeah. So I think my thoughts on that is,
he started this process a couple of years ago. It wasn't like this is just something new that he started.
Yeah, he started the process or whatever. Now he's got them all back. Now here's the deal. I'm gonna be honest, Mark, whatever his name is, whatever Curry, yeah, your catalog isn't probably worth much because I don't even know if you ever put an album out on Bad Boy. You might have put maybe one out, as you would never catalog if you didn't. Some of the other ones may not be, Danny Kane's catalog may not be. It's worth about $800 at this point. And maybe Aubrey might be, got to get a little more detail on that. She might be talking about a piece. That's still not a lot, but I'm just saying it might be worth $800-900 per Danny Kane member. So you're talking about $5,000 of worth a year, basically.
But here's the thing
nothing.
But here's the thing they're all missing out on. Okay, let's just say that she's right about the number. But now, what happens if you go do let's say MTV, for example, does a best of girl band groups, whatever the case may be, and they feature you in that. Now these young kids that don't know nothing about nothing, be like, oh, what? Now I want to see their catalog. Now you start streaming.
No, that's true. There's a lot of them that could get on a tour or this that, but I think where what she's getting at, or where they're running into trouble is, number one, finding a host, so to speak, that's going to be like, okay, yeah, let's put Danny Kane on, because whether or not they own their catalog or not, ain't nobody checking for Danny Kane. No. So not that they own it, yes, they're gonna want to try to do. They should want to try. You gotta get out there and make it happen as far as that goes. But their fan base has grown up basically. You
had it right first time. Their fan base died off.
Well, they died off, but what I mean is, in actuality, they didn't. Some people may have died, but what I mean is, their generation has grown up now, and died off as far as actually died off, but as far as their sound and things like that. So they would have to rekindle that. So they'd have to, in order to make this, not everyone. There's only maybe one or two people from Bad Boy that I think could almost instantly re-spark something. That would be Lil Kim, Mace. That's pretty much it. Maybe 112, maybe. The Locks. He already gave the Locks back their publishing before that. So, and they doing it.
But even with that one, look, Lil Kim actually isn't on Bad Boy. She's on Atlantic Records.
Right, she's on Atlantic now, yeah. But she right? Yeah, she's on Atlantic.
And
Mace, he's not on Bad Boy no more, but Diddy did own his publishing.
Yes, he did. But
you don't have to be on the label for someone to own your publishing. Anyone can own your publishing.
That's
Jackson
right.
made a living out of it. At one point, he was buying people's publishing.
But here is my question. Right, but here is my question with that one. This deal that Diddy is giving everybody that was on Bad Boy. All right, are you giving the deal to everybody that ever recorded for Bad Boy? And when I mean like this deal that you're giving Aubrey and the girls Danny Kane, you giving that same deal to Faith Evans, or the same deal and restraints? Are you giving the same type of thing to Faith Evans? Are you giving the same type of things to Mary J. Blige or the estate, the Biggie's estate? Right? Is the deal
that's the
universal?
most important. That's the most important. What happens to the estate? Big, not the estate, but what happens to the publisher of Biggie? Does he give it back to the estate of Christopher Wallace?
Right.
But that's where it would have to go back to. It's not going to go back.
No, but did he do it? Is the question. I suppose he did.
That's right. But my thing is is this deal that you're talking about where you're going to give it to publishing, you're getting everybody the publishing rights back, then this whole thing you can't ever say anything bad about Puffy for perpetuity? Are you is every single person that was ever on Bad Boy, did a record for Bad Boy, do they all have the exact same deal, or for each artist is it this change, this change?
It could be either or. because of the fact that he probably knows he's had so many falling outs with Danity Kane, so he might just be doing that for the people that he's had falling outs with. But with that being said, I do want to say this, Ralph. That isn't necessarily a bad deal for some of the artists. That's what I said, meaning like a Little Kim, like let's just say Little Kim, if he owns her publishing, which I think he does, a Mace or whatever, because they can turn. Mace is right now on his own platform, so Mace could turn this into money. You see what I'm saying? He has his own platform now. His podcast with Cam, and he got hits. Right, so he can Mace. If I was Mace, the first thing I would do is there's still celebrations of Hip Hop 50 going on. I'm jumping on the next tour or show. Jump on Rock the Bells, something like that, and go out there and perform and get you back in there. Another thing that I would do, because this is the new generation, if I was one of these other artists that's no longer really out there, I take a few dollars. I lace the pockets of some of these young influencers and have them do reaction videos on my old stuff and do reaction videos to them. You don't even realize, people don't realize how effective that is. Some of these young men and women that do reaction videos, they got millions of subscribers and people watch them. They're getting each video they put up is getting in the hundreds of thousands of views every time. And depending on what the video, it might tap 1 million, depending on who it is. So the point is, those influencers, they're the young. There's a new culture now where, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of part of it. I'm not part of the culture, but I'm fascinated with it. I'll sit here and probably spend a half an hour to an hour going through reaction videos, because I'm interested in seeing what these young people think about this classic stuff. So you got young urban dudes that's looking at old school hip hop videos and reacting to them and giving their portion on it. Or you got now they're doing it with movies, which I'm seeing that on YouTube. It's making me mad because I'm like, that's something that we should be doing. But every time I try to do something from that, YouTube blocks me or something. So, but anyway, now they're doing movies now. There's one particular, there's 2 or 3 of them that I follow on, actually the IE network follows, and they're in there doing it, reaction videos to different movies. Stuff. My point is this: I do that because you have to be able to spark something to, and that's what Aubrey and them could do too. Like, hey, have some people react to, because look, let's keep it real. Danny Kane they should have been bigger than what they were, like, because they had a fan base coming into the music game because of the reality show. The people that watched them on the reality show. But like I said, right now, they don't have a dedicated fan base like that. Like Little Kim has dedicated fans that will definitely support her once she comes out and says, I got my publishing back, y'all. Go stream, the Notorious KIM album. You know what I'm saying? She does have, she don't have a huge, she's not like the Barbs or anything, but she has like a dedicated fan base. She can make some money off this. Mace can make some money off this. It's the people like Danny Kane, the people like that Mark Curry, or whatever his name is, that feel like it's worthless because they don't feel they'll be able to go out and make money off of it.
Yeah, but what I'm sitting there saying is simply the way, from what she said about this deal that's being offered. Are you offering the same to everybody that ever recorded for Bad Boys? Because if you're sitting there saying, let's sit there and say, no, I'm not. I'm offering Mary J. Blige a different deal. Because although Mary J. Blige has certainly built up a catalog on her own, she does have some stuff from Bad Boys, right? So for her, the $400, $600, $1,000, whatever, it's nothing to her. So she's saying, let me just sign a deal. But if you're making that kind of deal for people like Danny Kane, well, you got a whole bunch of artists that are mad at you because you've been ripping them off for decades, right? Like Danny Kane, like the band, Shine, and God knows the two people you just mentioned, and God knows who else. What's the girl that he was dating all them years? Cassie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the same thing in that part where you can't ever say anything bad about me in public for perpetuity, means forever? They could go out there, if you give them my publishing right, they can go out there and do a tell-all book about my time with P. Diddy and make more money than what the publishing rights give up.
Well, why they didn't do that already? They don't need. They should have did that already.
Because
that could have supplemented the publishing that they wasn't getting.
No, not really, because you're not gonna go make a tell-all book while you're still dealing with the man. Now that you'll be free from him, if they were offering the publishing, but the whole thing about, well, you're not held to some sort of agreement where you can't ever say bad about me, maybe then that's a different story. But my question is, first, is like, are you offering the same deal to Danny Kane that you to Mary J. Blige, or someone that had a huge following and a huge time on Bad Boys compared to someone else that had a lower time on Bad Boys, or low to none?
Well,
I mean, Danny Kane is two singles. I'm be honest, Danny Kane is two singles. Shine is maybe two singles. Although they maybe two albums, they're known for two singles. That's it. You take out those two singles for Danny Kane, most people cannot tell you another Danny Kane single.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Most companies, when they, and depending on the level of what the status is between you and the company, even on smaller levels, or in most corporations, if they're parting ways with you, 9 times out of 10, inside of that contract is going to be something that's going to keep you from defaming them, or from putting you in a position of defamation. He's only protecting his brand because he knows what these people are going to do. He knew from the gate, like, you know what, I'm giving them back their publishing. They're already not happy with me. This is going to feel like a slap in the face because I'm just giving them back their publishing, whatever other money they put. And again, you know what? And I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get some backlash for this, but I don't care. You know the business that you're signing into. Even pre-internet, any band, anybody that got into the record business after 1995, I'll even give them 1996. Anybody that got into the record business, and I will say pre-1996, I'll say late 80s, but I'll give it a little bit of grace period. Anybody who got into the record business from 1994 going forward, if you got screwed in your contract, guess who fault that is? Yours. Because you chose.
I can't agree with that one.
Because and this is why I gave it the grace of 1994 or 96, because by that point in time, especially with hip hop culture, we all knew and heard the horror stories of what's going. I mean, hell, if you grew up in the 80s, you heard the horror stories of what was going on, and by that time, that was.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know where you're going with that, and I like 50% agree with you. What I don't agree with is the fact that, I mean, it all comes down to the person, because what did Leo Cohen say? They prey on certain types of people for record deals that's not going to reject this upfront money and this, that, and the other that they're giving you. It's just that plain and simple. They're not going to reject it. And it's your fault. It is technically your fault. And a lot of time also around that time, the 94 and stuff like that, actually the business changed again a little bit more. And that's when the Bad Boy and all that stuff came into play, where they were starting to give all these people their own labels and stuff like that after that happened. Because if you look at all of these artists that's been signed, look at all the artists from Bad Boy that all signed. I mean, that all signed deals with Diddy because Diddy was the hottest label out at that point. Right. The hottest label out at that point between them and Death Row. And on both sides, all the artists got screwed. on
and
both
LaFace.
from
We could
Death
throw
Row.
LaFace. We could throw LaFace. Right. That's why I said I can't
LaFace,
agree
look at
because
TLC. TLC got
Lisa and them got jerked.
Yeah, destroyed. Terrible.
You know, I have
but the bottom line
I
is,
heard that girl on
what
the
happens
phone,
is,
like, I got no
who
money.
do you blame? You want to say blame the artist for signing it, but at the same time, I don't really look at it that way.
And the management.
I look at it, well, not even the management. I look at it as, regardless of the fact, yes, they're gonna sign whatever. But take MC Light for example, right? MC Light put it right on the line and said exactly what happens when you do say, well, they called MC Light up and said, yeah, we're going to take 50% of your publishing. And she's like, I'm not really okay with that. They said, okay, well, no deal. You know what I'm saying? And she's just like, okay, okay, So, I mean, she was lucky she came off with 50%, but still, whatever percentage that they took. But the bottom line is, at some point, that's what happens. They play. That's why Leo Cohen kind of exposed, without trying to expose, because he's a vulture himself, but he exposed the culture of vultures in the hip hop industry. They prey on a certain type of person, broke, sometimes in a situation where he said, I'd rather sign an artist that has life problems than a better artist that doesn't. I'll sign the less talented artist that's in a gang instead of signing the more talented artist who doesn't have life issues, because the part with the life issues sells more, and they take out these insurance policies on them. So if they do get killed, they still make money paid from it.
And that's but even with that, and I have to say, to a degree, it's messed up because the families don't get any money from the label from that. That money goes right to the label because the label takes out the policy. But
nope.
But here's the thing that people aren't sharing. And the only reason why I know this is because I owned a business. I'm self-employed now still. If, let's just say, when Wes and them was coming to my studio back in the day, I was pretty much outside of Lloyd. Me and Lloyd were the only two engineers there that were handling the recording session. Later on, his brother started doing it, but that was only because he was unemployed and Lloyd was trying to throw him a couple of bucks. But let's just say, for argument's sake, our studio became bigger than what it was, and something happened to me, or something happened to Lloyd. What most businesses do, like in the restaurant business, they put insurance out on the person that makes the most money from them, because if something happens to you, they crap out of money. In the terms, and I'm not making excuses for the record companies, but what I am saying is the business side of it is, where they're putting their money into more risque talent, like artists that do drill music. All right, you give an artist that does drill music a drill album $100 million, $1 million. 2 weeks later, he's on the news because he done caught a body. You know what I'm saying? And goes to jail. Or he got body. You know what I'm saying?
Or got a case.
Now you're out of that money because you can't. I mean, you're going to recoup those sales.
No, I don't have a problem. Make no mistake, Kev. I don't have a problem with a company doing that. What I have a problem with is they'd rather choose the troubled artist than the more talented non-troubled artists. Yeah. See, that tells me that you're playing with the culture. You're banking on the violent side of things for selling, which is the ratchet side, right? The ratchet, which is what these, let's call them these Ritz, have been doing for years. Which is probably why we even have gangster music, which is probably which evolved into drill music. So, I mean, the bottom line is,
but they've been doing it.
Leo Cohen said right there, yeah, I'd rather put money into the artist, the less talented artist that's got problems, than because hey, I got to eat too. I got to feed my family. He just basically said in that thing that this version of the artist, even though they're not the most talented, they're the ones that's gonna probably they chance on making more money from them because of maybe the insurance, because they don't care. They just don't care. You can go out there. I'm gonna sign the most ratchet artist. Who cares if he gets killed? We'll still be able to play because they're not really at the end of the day. They're not giving them a lot of money. They think they're getting it's a lot of money for those people.
$10,000 is not a lot of cash. Sorry.
Well, I mean, they give them more than that. They be giving people because Tekashi 6ix9ine walks around with a whole lot of money.
I ain't too sure. I'm not even too sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not even too sure that money is actually.
Well, some of it may not be real, but what I'm saying is,
I don't think it's even.
From his label when he did his label deal or whatever, they're giving more than $10,000. They're giving these cats. The going rate right now is between like 300,000 and 700,000 is what they're kind of giving some of these artists. Because the reason why I know this is because Scarlett, who's new, and she was they had a little bidding thing going on with her, and that's when that was back when she got schooled on the air by DJ Vlad because she had no idea that you have to pay that money back. She didn't even know that.
It's all up front.
He was like, yeah, it's kind of like he's like it's kind of like a loan. He was like, because unless it's specifically stated that this is a bonus, this is money that you gotta pay that money back. So like you get a they pick a number for, but he explained it all to her. She looked confused. She was like, what? Now that, Kev, that's the other 50% that I agree with you on. You need to educate yourself or get some people from your team to educate you or something like that before you go into these deals. But at the same time, it's hard. I just take myself and I put myself in a position. I mean, I am not in the ghetto. I'm not, that type of broke, that type of poor. I'm not. I would not consider myself a, broke, poor person. But
a come up is a come up.
Bro, a come up is a come up, right? Yeah, exactly. So me if I'd have got some sort of situation where I'm looking at, back then Diddy and them, he was giving these cats, millions of dollars to play with their budget, and it's like, oh, he was, Clive was signing off on everything for Diddy because he was bringing in the hits. Yep. Now the first couple didn't get that kind of money. Biggie didn't really get shit. He didn't really get much up front, and it wasn't until like later on that they had to redo Biggie's deal where he got, because all that stuff is persona. We know that. They're spending all these money. That was back then when Hype Williams was getting $1 million to direct videos. Like people were spending $1 million, $1.5 million on videos and more than that. They don't even do that no more, because videos are not that important no more. People just jump on social media and promote themselves instead of video is a part of promotion. But anyway, neither here nor there. I think to wrap that up with a bow is, Diddy, we'll see. And I did just read, Ralph, that Notorious B.I.G. will be getting, the estate is getting their publishing back. It says here, Sean Diddy Combs is making a significant move for some of his former artists. It says some signed to his record label. Diddy has agreed to hand over Bad Boy Records publishing rights to all artists and writers who worked with the company. And it says here, former Bad Boy artists including Faith Evans, Mace, The Lox, 112, and the estate of the Notorious B.I.G. have signed agreements to receive their publishing rights. So they've already signed these agreements. Whether it's the same one that Aubrey got, we'll never know, because if they signed it, they can't say nothing bad about it. So, but at the same time, all of those people mentioned, Ralph, I think it'd be worth it.
It would have been put in there.
Well, here's the deal. All those people mentioned in this article, it's worth signing it. I'm like, so what? I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him. So what? I just ain't gonna say nothing about him. Period. I'm just gonna start working on getting my money back up because I finally got my publishing back. Faith Evans have wrote a lot of songs for other people, you know, so she's gonna get money anyway. She don't even have to really do anything. As long as these other artists that she wrote for are still getting burned and still getting run, her catalog, I guarantee you, her publishing ain't worth no $800-900 a year. Guarantee you that.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? Her publishing, Mace publishing is not worth that. Because Mace remember this, Ralph. Mace offered Diddy $2 million to buy back his publishing, so his publishing is worth.
But what I'm sitting there, but all I'm sitting there saying is this: is that I'm betting those people that you just mentioned, none of them got that kind of gag order in their deal where you can't ever say nothing.
Well, I don't know. Why all of those people you mentioned, all those people mentioned, did not, maybe except Faith, don't have a great relationship with Diddy.
It don't matter if it doesn't. It wouldn't matter if it's a great relationship. It's just that if it's not a horrible relationship. I'm looking at Danny.
It's horrible with Mace. That's a horrible relationship.
It can't be too horrible with Mace because when he did his anniversary thing in Masquerade Garden, who was one of the artists that was there was Mace. So at least that he pieced it up to come. If you really that pissed off,
right?
You're not showing up.
But here's the thing. I want to kind of. I know we're putting a bow in it, but I just wanted to. And not really come to Diddy's defense. But he did say that, and what Ralph just said is factual because out of Diddy's own mouth, he did say, me and Mace are cool.
Right. So they cool.
We had a conversation.
So they mended their fences. That's fine. I mean, everyone else, I don't know. The Locks, it's kind of like
those artists that they piece it up. Right. That's what I'm saying. All the people that's in that article that say like Mace, the Locks, Biggie, and all them, they all had a decent to above average relationship with Diddy. But you got a lot of cats that was with Diddy that don't have that relationship with him.
Yeah,
those are the ones that you're worried about. I'm quite sure he's worried about Shine and Danny Kane. And even with Danny Kane, while Aubrey has a problem with Mace, I mean with Puffy, I don't think Dawn Richards has a problem with Puffy.
No. Dawn
even Sean.
Dawn Rashad had
Sean.
like
even Sean don't have a problem with Diddy.
Well, Sean is out of the shit. Yeah, he did his time. He's out of it now. So man, his catalog ain't worth nothing really either.
No.
Like I said, his catalog not even worth Danny Kane's catalog probably. So because once again. Two singles or not, Danity Kane had a fan base from the reality show, so their catalog has got to be worth more than Shine's. So
yeah, but what Aubrey even said was right. She said, "Listen, MTV does not rerun Making with the Band.
Right.
They don't ever rerun it. Right? They certainly have reran The Real World." And the Jersey Shore, but they don't rerun it. So like all the money that we possibly could make off our catalog, if you reran the show, we're being denied that. MTV is not giving them the rights to that show. We're saying, hey, this is what we're going to give you the rights to the show. You can put that onto your website and you can show Making the Band the episodes that you were in. They're not doing that.
No,
MTV probably would never do something like that. Maybe not. I don't know. But
maybe
in their case. And this is the case for them and the band, those two entities itself. They can make more money if the show was reran. And now people, like you just said, the younger generation say, hey, I never knew this was even out. Oh, let me see it. That regional interest.
I mean, that's to me, that's their best bet. I would, to be honest with you, this is just my opinion. I would probably just sign it because I don't care. To me, I think I like this. If I got such a problem with you, I just don't want to be around you. Now, now I'm free of you. I don't have to even come at you to say I need my publisher back. I'm done with you. I'm going to take that and get to work. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to take that publishing and I'm going to get to work using the tools of today because that's what you have to do. if you want to try to tap into your old, fan base, do it through YouTube, start your own thing, blog, whatever it is, that's fine. But what you need to do is find creative ways to get on a tour or get on a show like you had mentioned, Ralph. Get on an award show, upcoming award show, throwback, whatever. Get and try to get people to stream your music. Try to, that's what I just better than not having it at all. Because maybe they can write a tello book, but they didn't write it yet. So they write a tello book. It may, it may go, it may not go. It may or may not go. We have to see. With Diddy's name tied to it, that's probably why he having them sign that, because he don't want them to do stuff like that. Because now he has nothing over them once he gives them back the publishing. I mean, like I said, I'm not surprised by that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gave that to everybody. Because at the end of the day, especially the ones that have publishings that's worth something, at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Who cares? It's just like the philosophy of Sonny from Bronx Tale when he said to the kid, he said to Kalojin, "Oh, so is you like this guy? Oh, he owes me $20 for like 3 weeks. You like him? Nah, he's an a-hole. Okay, fine. It costs you $20 to get him out of your life." You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. Like, he's never gonna come back. He owes you money. You're not gonna see him no more. It only cost you $20. There you go. Glass half full. So that's the way I would look at it. But I can understand Aubrey's frustration, because they're like, yo, it's insulting to give it. What I want to know is why don't I see New Edition's name on this list? The stuff he did with them. How come I don't see that? Is what I want to know. Well, I tell you why. New Edition is a group that stays out on the road, performing, staying in people's face. The stuff that they did with Diddy, if he gave them back their publishing, then they could start performing it in their shows and stuff like that. And people will go stream it. You know what I'm saying? So they will make money from that. I don't know if he's done it yet, but maybe he will. I don't know. He should have never jerked none of them, but he damn sure shouldn't have jerked New Edition. Shouldn't have took New Edition publishing. He should have worked something out.
You know what's sad about with New Edition is, I mean, I don't agree with that one, because I mean, realistically speaking, the album that they had, with the exception of that one song, the album wasn't anything. But that was like one of their best songs in the world. Hot Tonight.
That was a hot song.
That was a hot song.
Tonight was dope. Now Diddy has some good collaborations with them that they don't perform at all. Not just remix. That album. That remix, the remix for You Don't Have to Worry.
Yeah, they don't perform
it. They don't perform that at all. That was a dope song. That remix was dope.
That was very dope.
You know what I'm saying? With Bobby, I'm like, yo, man. They don't perform that song at all. They don't perform Hot
Which is a shame.
They don't perform those songs because, they don't want to, they ain't trying to give Diddy no money. So, I mean, which makes sense. I'm not out here busting my ass to come back and people start streaming a song and it goes in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's pretty much that. So the thing with Ashton Kutcher and what's her name?
Mila.
The hell is her name?
Mila
Kunis. Yeah. So, long story short, we know that they wrote a letter in favor, or like a character letter or something like that, for Danny Masterson. Sent it to the judge, whatever, and they sit on the board of, or at least he sits on the board of a organization that is based around like anti, sex assault and things like that, which he retired from, or resigned from, I should say, after the backlash they caught from that. Because he did not, number one, they did not think that their letter was going to be made public. Second, that's the first thing. And I'm going to say this, like I said, here's my unpopular opinion. I think people are blowing this out of proportion, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm gonna keep it 100 right now, and everybody can get mad all they want. This is a natural thing. Meaning, Kev, I would never put this on you because I know you, the type of guy you are. But you are like my brother. If something came out where you sexually assaulted a woman, and you paying for it, you got convicted, you got tried, whatever, I'm still gonna support you, brother. It's not just am. I'm gonna keep it 100. I think Nicki Minaj got a bad rep about that. People are like, oh, she supports a pedophile and this and another. It's her brother. It's her brother. Now, I'm not saying that you condone it, and I'm not saying that you should agree with it, condone it, or what have you. But there's different types of support. You know, if I'm a millionaire, and my brother, and I can say this because just like I could say that with you, Kev, because I know that y'all would never do this. But if I'm a millionaire and my brother gets in trouble for assaulting a woman sexually, first of all, if my brother looks me in my eyes and tells me I did not do this, I am going to believe him. That's number one. Second of all, even if I didn't believe him and he needs money to get a lawyer, you don't think I'm going to give him money for a lawyer? Of course I am.
And
yeah, I got questions about that too. I got
you got questions about that. This is, I guess it all depends on the type of relationship you have with your family. This is my brother. I grew up with him. This is my brother that I am one. We are the only two left of our immediate family. I will go to the moon and back. I will die for this man. There is no way in hell, whether or not he was accused of it or whether or not he did it, that I would abandon him. I would not do that just because people are saying that I should. I'm just not going to do that.
But this is the question. Like what using certain, you said, like you're someone of real serious influence, and your brother does this. I'm not sitting there saying that you should not support your brother because you damn well had better. However, because of your status, and how do people look at you? Do you support your brother publicly or privately?
There's no separating it. There's no such thing as public or privately when you're big as Nicki Minaj. Everyone knows if Nicki Minaj just showed up to his court date to pay the fucking lawyers, excuse my language, to pay the lawyers, people are gonna take a million pictures of her and say she was there supporting a pedophile. Even if she didn't stay for moral support.
Wait, before you say that, I got what you just said. You said Nicki Minaj shows up to support her brother, whether she just paid the fines, whatever. But what if she didn't? But she paid it privately, did not come to the court, right? Would you be okay with that? Where she didn't show up because she does got an image to protect.
I would be. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be okay with it. I'd be okay with that too. You can choose to say, because hey, listen, I'm paying your lawyer fees, so listen, I can't get canceled. I got to keep making the money, so I can pay your lawyer fees. I get it. So I don't have a problem with that. But what I do have a problem with is this indication that people think that you're supposed to abandon this person who did a crime, all right, maybe even got convicted for the crime. Let's just say that they really did it, because this is a person that you have, like I said, it all depends on the relationship you have with your sibling or whoever this loved one is, whether it's your sibling, your child, whatever. I mean, come on. Don't you know when you got convicted murderers getting the conviction read to them and their parents are crying in the courtroom, you're gonna turn around and say you support a killer? No, I'm gonna
tell you like my mother told my mom, my dad told us. If you did it, don't call me. I'm not.
Well, no, I understand that.
Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. What? if you did it, don't call me. I'm not coming to get you. You stuck. But if you didn't do it and you locked up, I got you. But wait, let me finish. My brother, my me and my brother didn't do anything with assaulting anybody, but my brother had sticky hands, and I can say this because it's public record. He done been to jail for. He did rooftop job. My brother was that guy. Our first drum machine that we got was because he lifted it from Sam Axe.
Right.
What did my dad do? Even though my dad's first words were, if you did it, don't call me knowing you guilty and have me waste my money.
Right.
That's his son.
Yeah.
He's
but see,
not
that's
going
to me. It's a little different.
No, wait, Wes. Wait, Wes. I'm not finished. He's not going to turn. No matter the severity of the crime, my father was not going to let you sit in jail when you could be out. And he's going to make sure that you have the best. He's going to make sure you have a good lawyer. He's going to make sure of all of that. But outside of that, don't call him asking him to re-up your commissary and all of that, because he ain't doing that.
No.
What
I agree with that.
Sure,
I think
that what he will do is make sure that you have the best representation to help you not get railroaded. And that's where I agree with Wes on.
Yeah,
that's family.
You have to. That's family. And at the same time, you can say I know, and people, my parents, same type of deal, and a lot of people their age from that generation, of course they're gonna say, look, don't come to me with no BS. You get arrested, don't call me. You did it, especially if you did it. Blah 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 blah. And I know that, but at the same time, at the end of the day, they're not going to abandon them. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to abandon you. And for this generation to think that Nicki Minaj should abandon her brother, they are nuts.
Her blood brother at that. Now, mind you, my brother is my stepbrother. And even I agree with my dad, like, damn, this he about to get locked up for some foolishness. They had to get a lawyer to, you know what I'm saying? As long as my brother was for shit that he did, you can't. Family will never completely turn their back on it.
And I tell you why this is even happens, because of, especially from our generation, because we were brought up with some sort of faith. We were brought up with forgiveness, things like that. I don't care. And like I said, you're not my blood brother, but you're my brother. And if you got caught up in some crap like that, I'm not abandoning you, Kev. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to badmouth you publicly. And like now to what Ralph is saying.
That part? Can you say that part again?
Right. I'm not going to badmouth you nor deny you publicly. Right. And because of the fact that, and then people going to say, oh yeah, that makes me, I agree with if you did some heinous stuff like that. Oh, you must agree with it. It doesn't mean you could still love a person and forgive a person and not agree with what they did.
I'm gonna tell you how. I'm gonna tell you what the conversation. Let's just say I did some foolishness like that. You know what the conversation would be with me if Wes ever spoke to me? Nigga, what the fuck is you doing?
With you?
Use my language, YouTube. What are you doing? What are you doing now? When you
trust me. Now I'm gonna support you, but you're gonna hear my mouth for sure.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
You gonna hear my mouth. Because I'm about to get canceled because I'm supporting your black ass, and I'm giving you more support. Now they want to cancel me, so like that. See, this is what I'm saying. This is what you gonna hear my mouth for days, but I'm still gonna support you. And even if it's hopeless for you, kind of like what Danny Masterson. Like, yo, I've been convicted. I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. I'm going to jail for 30-something years. Yo, man, I do what I can to support you morally. And that's what they were doing. Bringing it back to the point. They were basically saying, look, we know he ain't shit, but I didn't never know him to be like that. And I'm just going to tell you about my experiences with
Period. And that's all. As an individual, that's all you can go by. That's all you can go by.
And my only point I wanted to make before Ralph chimes back in, because I was about to say it when he was talking before. Here's my example. Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most heinous monsters that's come across our American history. Okay. His father, of course, what was the answer that his father gave? As a parent, he put it on himself. He said, I failed him. I failed him as a parent. And I feel, my heart goes out to the families of the victims. And I'm disgusted. I'm sick to my stomach. He never, but at the same time, he said, but he's my son. And I'm not going to just let him, I don't want him to be put to death. I'm going to support him. And people didn't know how to deal with that. Where the mother went completely the other way. The mother was like, oh, I can't believe he came out my body. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. And plus she was, he didn't have a big, close relationship with her anyway. Like she left him and all that stuff. No sympathy for him, not putting no sympathy for him. The bottom line is that is a father. If my son, for whatever, like I said, first of all, it'd have to be proven to me that my son could do something like that. Obviously, it was proven to him. So, because if my son got arrested and looked me in my face and said, Dad, I did not do this, I'm going to believe him. That's number one. Even if it may be naive, whatever, I would believe him because he's never been in trouble. You see what I'm saying? Now, if my son was a menace going around shooting people and doing all types of stuff, and then he said, nah, I didn't do this, Dad, I might be like, you probably did. But at the same time,
you ain't lying to me?
Are you sure you're not lying to me? Don't lie to me.
Giving an eyeball test, boy. Yeah. Boy, you lying to me?
If you lie to me, you're going to be in more trouble. Because regardless of the fact, you got me on your team as far as support, whether it's emotional, financial, whatever way I can. But it doesn't mean that I condone that you murdered somebody. Yeah, your actions. That has nothing to do with it. But for people to think, and some people I guess are like that, but to think that these people want me to say, Heaven Hollywood, who's an influencer himself, Heaven Hollywood got accused of sexual assault somebody. Oh, I'm supposed to be like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't have nothing to do with it, but he's still my brother. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna be a Peter and deny him thrice before the cops.
Listen, I can honestly say that. I mean, and I'm gonna let Rob say what he got to say, but I can honestly say the only reason why I totally wanted to agree with Wes is because my cousin Larry, when he came home from jail, that nigga did 40 years in jail for taking a body over some two white people that stole weed from him. He walked into their spot, stabbed them up. Like, look, and he had no qualms about it either. Like, yo, they stole from me, and I took their life. And when it was time for him to come home, he said, Kev, listen, I know I can't come stay with you, but I need this letter so I can get out. And what I felt was, this is him. He done did his time, required for him, and now he in order for him to get released, they needed for him, the process of what is he coming home to? Does he have a support system? Yeah. I wrote the letter to the boy. Boom, 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 boom. Bow. That was it. He came home 3 months later. You stick my family.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean by I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and pretend to you that I would not support my family, my friends, my close friends who I consider family. You, Kev, Deuce, Bruce, people like that I've known for years. And if I found out some crap y'all got into, I'm not abandoning you. I'm just not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So to people, back to the top of the point is Ashton Kutcher and his wife wrote this letter, and now, behind all the backlash he got from that letter going public, he resigned from an organization that he founded or co-founded, and he resigned from it because they're saying you're a hypocrite. You're which one has nothing to do with the other. You're talking about supporting a friend as opposed to, and not condoning a friend. The judge and jury have spoken. He is going to jail. His letter didn't say, don't send him to jail. The letter didn't say that. It was just literally what it was.
Give him a little leniency. Yeah, a little leniency.
Yeah, give him a little leniency. I mean, from my perspective, this is what the type of man that I know that he was or is. And I'm asking you for the leniency. That's it. Don't throw the complete book at him. Throw a couple of chapters at him. Don't throw the complete book at him.
Don't give him life. Don't give him life. Don't give him a chair.
Give him an opportunity to do his time for his crimes.
Rehab himself.
And that's the concept of jail originally. That was supposed to be there. Let me rephrase that. That was supposed to be right. Rehabilitation. You know what I'm saying? To come back into the world. Now, of course, if you are a murderer, this and that, you don't deserve to come back into the world. But I'm just saying, I don't think that it's a knock on anybody by them saying that. That's my opinion, unpopular or not, because I'm keeping it real. I'm putting myself in their shoes. Now, I don't know, however close that they were, they must have been close enough to him to write a letter for him. Now, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. If it's like somebody that I barely know, I ain't gonna be there talking about some right. That's different. But once again, I'm a real dude, man. I'm not gonna sit there and lie to you and say that I wouldn't support you. And I've known you a long time, Ralph, as well. Haven't known you as long as I've known Kev, but I wouldn't turn my back on you neither.
Exactly.
I don't care what you did. I'm just gonna be like,
I might
I'm
have
not
to
gonna
remember
say.
that. I might need you as a character witness next week. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line, I'd be like, look,
I'm
gonna tell people in that character statement what I know about you, how my relationship is with you, and the type of person that I believe you are. That is the only thing I can tell people.
And that's the whole purpose of a character statement. A character statement is supposed to be there so that the court, the judge, because at that point, once the jury makes their ruling, the jury makes their ruling. One has nothing to do with the other, because your character statement means nothing to the jury when the evidence
it's about
points
sentencing.
at you doing what you're doing.
It ain't about the character statement. Is not about
exactly.
It's not about your the conviction.
Guilt or innocence.
Right. It's about the sentencing.
It's about your character, and it's about the other parts of your character. Yes, okay. He walked into a school and killed 18 people, but he was also our milkman. He also
this is somebody
he looked out for my mother.
He looked out for somebody that I knew. Right? Yeah. It was. I never knew that. I would have never guessed he'd do something like that, because there was a time where, like you said, he looked after my elderly mother. He did this. He did that. I'm not saying that you're condoning what he did, and you're not saying, and you're not even saying that he's this great person. You're just basically giving your account of your relationship with this person, especially if it's someone that you've known for a long time. So what are they doing? What is going on? Now they're bringing stuff back. Footage surfaces, creepy footage surfaces of Ashton Kutcher talking about a young Mila Kunis when she was young, and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Now they're digging whatever they feel is they're digging up. First of all, bringing stuff back from back then and playing it now is kind of unfair, to be honest with you. Not saying that if you're saying or doing some perv-ish that it shouldn't be exposed, what I'm saying, or even some dumb-ish and it should be exposed. But we all know the sensitivity was different back then. So that's one thing. But once again, what does this have to do? Now you're trying to prove to the world that Ashton Kutcher condones this type of stuff. That's what you're trying to do. Why else would you bring up whatever it is, whatever interview that you brought up? Now, granted, Ashton Kutcher is about 5 years older than Mila Kunis. They were saying that she was like 15 at the time, and he might have been like 19 going on 20 when he said whatever it is he said about her or what have you. Now, I look at that as a whole nother conversation because number one factor, they were love interests in the show that they played in. So why are you yelling at Ashton Kutcher? How about yelling at the production company that put a 15-year-old with a 19-year-old as love interest? How about that? If you want to be outraged for somebody, as I'm saying, selective outrage. You're being outraged sometimes at the wrong people. And 5 years is not a great deal between each other. But yes, of course, if you're talking about someone who's 15 compared to someone that's 20, yeah, that's not appropriate. Whatever. You know, in my opinion, I'm 5 years older than my wife. When I met my wife, she was 20 years old. I was 25. You know, that's obviously we're consenting adults. Whole nother story. You know, but you know, I just think that's a real raw deal that all of this is happening just because he sent a private letter. He should sue whoever put that letter out.
Yeah, but see here's the thing, and I do agree with everything that the two of you guys just said. But when I asked that question about the support, do you give publicly or privately? Because while you guys are talking about, all to a degree public people, we're private people. We're not a public person. Ashton Kutcher is a very public person. So even if he felt that he wanted to do that, he should have known, especially in our culture today, if I send this letter out, okay, I'm going to get some kind of backlash from it.
But
then,
I
Ralph,
agree with you.
I disagree.
I disagree with that. But finish your thought, Ralph. Finish your thought, and then I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that.
But I was, and that's for a bunch of things. But like for something like this, right? Would it have been better for him to support Danny Masterson behind the scenes, send the letter, come see him, and maybe not even ever go see him in jail, but certainly put money on his books when no one would know? Yeah. But at times when you are that,
that's exactly what he thought he was doing, Ralph. He thought he was doing it behind the scenes. He sent a private letter to the judge. How would he have known that they were going to expose him?
Because he's Ashton Kutcher.
But so that goes back to what Kev said from the beginning. But that goes back to what Kev said from the beginning. If that's the case, there's no such thing as privately or publicly, because you can't write the letter and send it because you're Ashton Kutcher, right?
Maybe instead of sending a letter, maybe that should be a phone call. Maybe that should have been a private phone call.
That would go out to those phone calls are recorded, so that would get out to.
Not if he would have called the judge himself. I'm sure. I'm just think there might be I'm not sitting there saying that he should not. And wait a minute. And while the support thing I got, but look at nobody else from that show has come out and supported Danny Masterson. Nobody else.
Okay. Maybe they didn't have the relationship that Ashton and her had with him.
But not only that,
circumstances.
I agree, I give you my example, right? I'm friends with Mr. Marcus. That's my boy, right?
Yeah.
When that whole thing happened back in the early 2010s with the homosexual case, publicly, when people ask me about him, and they still ask me, this is my stance: no comment, no comment.
Okay.
Privately.
But you're not going either way with that. You're saying no comment. So you're not saying, yo, that's my friend. It's fucked up what he did, but that's you know, he's my friend. Or you're not saying, I don't know this guy. I don't mess with him. You're not going either way.
Right.
So
right.
that's fine to me.
Me and Marcus, like when we someplace, it's known that me and Mr. Marcus is there. We hang out, we everything else. But privately, what dudes just say, yo, what the fuck you thinking of? What was your problem?
Right.
We've talked about it. As far as I'm concerned, it's settled, right?
Yeah.
So now, at this point in time, X amount of years later, if someone was asking about that now, I have no problem saying something, right? Because I came to the conclusion that this man who did this thing honestly made a mistake. He honestly fucked it, and he has never backed away saying that I didn't do it. He said, I did do it. I was wrong. He's taken forcibly for wrong. So why would I go out and although it's not the topic, why would I go out and bury him? And better yet, why would I go out and abandon a man like you're sitting there saying that people
that's what this
up.
generation wants you to do, Ralph. Now, if that came out,
they do.
If they saw, now, God forbid, you're at an event and they see you take a flick with Mr. Marcus. Be, I guess you hanging out with so and so people now, and then you know, see what I'm saying? So that's the part that I'm saying. All this outrage and backlash, and I'll let Kev close it out. All this outrage and backlash that Ashton and his wife is getting for supporting someone who they consider a friend, and they're only just giving a character statement. They're not supporting, saying, yes, we support that you're a rapist. No, they're not supporting him in that way. There's different ways to support people. It could be emotionally, could be financially, could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be psychologically. You can maybe try to get him some help or whatever. There's plenty of ways to do it. It doesn't mean you condone and agree with their heinous actions. Close it out, Kev.
I just the final part on this, Ralph, is it would have got leaked regardless of whether it was a letter, a phone call. It doesn't matter. In case in point,
text, the email.
it doesn't matter because case in point, Mrs. What's her name? I forget her name is, but she works with Steve Harvey on the Steve Harvey show. And her husband, who is in jail, I forget what he's in jail for, some tax stuff, whatever the case may be. She had a conversation with him about
he's talking crap.
About how, Marjorie was, how, well, she wasn't talking crap, but she was just saying how Marjorie would treat them when they would come to the house. And that got leaked by somebody at the prison. Now, obviously, her ex-husband couldn't do it because he locked up.
Yeah, Michael Jackson said it. Electric eyes are everywhere.
Yeah, somebody from the prison decided that they Steve Harvey's in the headlines for all of the stuff he's in the headlines for over the last year or so. Okay, we got this conversation between her and her ex-husband. Boom, we're going to put it out there. Because they're celebrities, it's somebody at the court decided to make that public record.
Mm-hmm.
Because that letter goes to the judge.
Yeah. And I'm using everything in my power to find out and sniff out who is behind this, and they are getting the business from me.
I'll tell you exactly where you go directly to the county clerk's office. The people who keeps the records of all
that's
of
who
the
get the letter
court
first.
Yeah, or go to the outlet that leaked it, because at the end of the day, you offer them enough money, they don't give a shit about giving up their source.
No, and then you sue you find out who did it, and then you sue the drawers off of them.
Exactly, I agree with you. I want to say this because you're coming out to the end of the show. Once again, based on I have this thing the Hollywood Reporter put out about the upcoming slates for Netflix, right? I noticed that Netflix is putting a lot of licensed stuff back on the platform, but you don't see in this list, I don't see any real original content. Obviously some things that's already done, I guess. So it says here September 1st They had, I'm not gonna read the whole list, but I see like Arrival, Baby Mama, Couples Retreat, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Fences, the Jaws series, all four of them. Uh, what else?
Oh
Land of the
Lord.
Lost, Love is Blind, After the Altar, season 4. Then you got SWAT, season 6, Stand by Me. A lot of older stuff. Woody Woodpecker. So then September, Love Again, Crank 2. I don't see any real original stuff in here. The whole case in point of the original topic from the beginning about how these things are now starting to get affected because they're, like I said about Marvel has nothing, not nothing, but they have minimal stuff in the can. And I'll run this down really quick before we get out of here. Here is the slate for Marvel, right? Right now, there's only about 4 titles, if that even have tentative dates. Loki, of course, Loki season 2, October 6th. That's a definite date. It's coming out. Disney Plus. They obviously had Loki done and edited, and it's ready to go. The Marvels is a movie that's obviously was in the can and edited and shot, and that's coming out November 10th, 2023. Right? After that, you got What If. Now, What If is something that they had already also had pretty much done. And I guess they were just waiting on the animation to get done, whatever. Which once again, even that now the effects people have now agreed to organize and not strike, but actually unionize finally. Because of all of the shit that was going on with them, how they were getting shortchanged. So then you got Echo, January of 2024. They don't have an actual date for that. I don't even know if this is all in the can. I know they started shooting this, and I don't see anything that says if it's done. It says in the first Marvel, all 6 episodes of the show will premiere at the same time. Oh, this is going to be they're going to drop all of this at one time. And supposedly Daredevil and the Kingpin are in this. They tied in the Kingpin when you saw her in the Hawkeye series. Okay, fine. X-Men 97, which is obviously animated reboot or revamp of the old X-Men series from 1990.
Actually, a continuation.
Continuation. Okay, it's a continuation from that. Early 2024. That's all they got for it. Then they got here Deadpool 3, which we all know it was very public. They were filming Deadpool 3 when the strike started. They have now ceased to film, obviously, and they're waiting on the strike to end. May 3rd, 2024. That's getting pushed back. Captain America Brave New World, July 26, 2024. They've actually been shooting stuff as well. And but that's maybe that won't have to get pushed back, depending on when the strike ends. I believe the strike is going through the end of the year. That's what I think. Agatha.
Oh, most definitely.
Coven of Chaos.
Most definitely.
Yeah, fall 2024. Now they're going into seasons. Thunderbolts. They have their date of December 20th, 2024. So that's a little over a year from now. They could probably still do their thing. Ironheart 2024. As we go down the list, things are getting more and more vague. Daredevil Born Again 2024. They used to have a date for Daredevil Born Again. Now they don't even have a date for it. Blade February 14th, allegedly 2025. So they're 2 years away. Not even a year and some change away. Almost 2 years away. Not even. Fantastic Four, May of 2025. Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, May 1st, 2026, which that had got pushed back. I don't think that was originally supposed to be in 2026. Avengers: Secret Wars has been pushed back to 2027. Now, May 7th of 2027. And then they got the Untitled Wonder Man series, undated. Then they have Armor Wars, undated. Spider-Man freshman year, undated. Marvel Zombies, undated. The Untitled Wakanda series, undated. The Untitled Nova Project, the Nova Corps Project, undated. Vision Quest, undated. So that is this long slate of stuff that don't and half of them don't even have dates, or at least the last maybe 5 of them don't even have dates. My point being, yeah, to answer the question that I posed from the beginning, yeah, they are in a little bit of trouble. They're heading for a little bit of trouble. It's because of a lot of series of unfortunate events, especially the pandemic, them not knowing how that was going to happen. Bob Iger specifically came back and specifically spoke on how he felt they made wrong moves as a company during the pandemic or post-pandemic. They spent a lot of money where they shouldn't have spent it, and now he's trying to right the ship on that. So I'm going to, with that being said, expect a lot of these shows and films to get cut from the slate altogether, because and I say a lot, I mean especially the ones down near the bottoms that don't even have dates. Like, we may get Marvel Zombies because that's an animated thing, so we might get that. Spider-Man year 1, don't be surprised if that or freshman year, don't be surprised that gets cut, because first of all, there's a gazillion Spider-Man shows out on Disney Plus already. Why do we need another Spider-Man show showing him as a kid? Why do we need that? I say cut it anyway. We don't need that show.
But question: is that him as a freshman in high school or freshman in college?
Freshman year. I think it's freshman year. I think it's high school. It says here, blah blah blah. Let's see if they have a little thing there. This version of Peter's life will feature a bunch of new characters, including Nico Minoru and from the Runaways team, a new crush who isn't Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy, Amadeus Cho, who becomes a new Hulk in the comics, a Wakandan exchange student, and Harry Osborn, with Harry's father Norman serving as Peter's mentor. Well, at first they say. So they don't say if he's in high school, but I believe he is in high school still, because the picture of him, he looks mad young. I don't know if they said it. They don't say that it follows him in college or high school. It'd be nice if it was college at least.
No, it's
college.
Year. It's exactly what it says. It is. It's his high school year.
Why you keep taking him back to? Why you?
I mean, that's stupid. Head of the writers' crew says, and yes, a sophomore year season is also in the works. It says here, MCU tie-in, early press, blah blah blah. I'm just trying to see what I have to look it up again and see exactly if it's supposedly covering his freshman year of high school or freshman year of college, because what they're saying could what the description I just read could apply to both. You can have exchange students in high school. You can have exchange students in college.
If it's college, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
All right.
If it's high school, which is what I think it is.
Like, why we keep going back to high school?
Don't do that. I know this picture of him on the cover is really, he looks really young in this picture. Like it's an animated picture, but he looks young. So I'm like,
that show is supposed to be animated anyway. So
yeah, it is. It is animated. Yeah. I'll take one last stab at it and then we'll end the show because we're at time, about 5 minutes over. So
actually, I want to say the fact, what I thought was funny that we haven't been on the air in the last couple of weeks, and one of the things that I had said when it came to strike is the residuals, right? And I got that from standing out there on that line is
right.
Residuals. I do. There's a website I subscribe that I look at called the Blu-ray. It's about Blu-ray movies. You know what I noticed in the next couple of weeks? You know how many of these Disney shows are on the streaming sites are now coming to Blu-ray in the next couple of weeks? All this is post strike. Like, like I saw, like in another couple of weeks, I think Loki is coming out on Blu-ray in the next couple of weeks, right? And you got I saw The Mandalorian season 1 and 2 is coming out on Blu-ray. So now it looks like Disney's sitting there saying, you know what? Maybe try to as saying, no, we really do think about the artists, which you really not. We're going to put these shows that were on our streaming service. We're going to start putting them out onto another medium because that's going to generate or begin to generate you guys extra income. So see, we're trying. No, stop it. That's it. That's exactly why. You know that strike I was in. You know who we were standing in front of? We stand in front of Disney Studios. Right.
Yeah.
Stop.
I guess they rotate like every day, right? Or do they do a group go one place and a group goes another place?
That's what I thought it rotate. No, they're striking in front of only ones that they're not striking in front of in LA is in front of Universal Studios because Universal had this. I should have took a picture. They have this fence up in front of their entire studio, like the fence comes out to the sidewalk, so you can't even walk in front of you. You actually walk across the street, but there's no safe place for the strikers to strike out there. But what Michelle was telling me, I can call Michelle her from Star Trek. I could do that because I know her. They're striking in front of Disney Studios, Paramount, and and Warner Brothers.
Netflix.
Warner Brothers did, and Netflix. So they have a group. Each location has a group of strikers in front of them. Every single day they're out there. Rain, sleep, whatever. They're out. They're not there on the week. Out there on Saturday, Sundays, but during the week, every single day they're out there and they're protesting. And I mean, they got like this whole party vibe going on. I mean, they were out there giving people snacks and they were playing like.
Yeah, I follow them on IG and I see that they have people out there performing and they're just trying to pass the time.
They had one guy
trying to make noise.
Yeah, they had one guy that was an actor. He had a tent. He had a canopy set up. He's out there lining up people under the canopy. I was like, oh, he cutting hair. You know, you got people out there playing music. Yeah. They had this like these 12 people came by on horses, and I was like, whoa, you know. And the cops are they're very orderly. They're not, you know, they got their picket signs, but they're not out there stopping people from going there.
They're peacefully protesting or, you know, striking. They're not really protesting; they're striking. And I mean, long as there's nobody getting unruly, and cops ain't got to do.
Nobody's getting unruly.
Well, you know what? But even if they were getting a little bit rowdy, you know what the LAPD is going to do? Absolutely nothing. You know why?
No. LA police, because see, this is the thing. All these studios, the three I just mentioned, Warner Brothers and Disney are in Burbank. Netflix is in LA.
That's right.
So the police departments, you know, they're saying,
different
look, we siding with you guys, but we still got to have people walk sidewalk.
You got to be
orderly. You can't be crossing your now with school starting.
Can't
kids got to get
impeding
through.
progress.
As long as you guys don't do, so long as you guys don't do any of that stuff, strike all you want to, because they're used to strike.
Right, and that's right, and that's why they're out there, you know, being, you know, making noise by like singing and people out there, different people showing their support and. And here's the answer to the Spider-Man thing. Synopsis for it is an animated series that follows Peter Parker's journey to becoming his MCU Spider-Man in a never-before-seen story and style that honors his entire comic book roots. So there you go. He's back in high school.
So so becoming the Spider-Man that you're going to become. So in the comic books, wasn't he already Spider-Man?
No, in the comic books, you actually saw the origin of Spider-Man when he got bit by the spider and everything. But became Spider-Man.
But what I'm saying is, what I mean is that in the Spider-Man comics when they first came out, was he? Although you may see in the origin, they may wrote in the origin story, but you didn't. Did he give you stories of him way before he got bit by a spider?
Well, in
Or
Amazing
after,
Fantasy, yes.
Yeah,
Right. He premiered in Amazing
after,
Fantasy. Yeah.
yeah, after Amazing Fantasy, you had two groups of comics that talked about people. Well, actually,
that featured him. But his number one comic, the comic where you first see his comic of his brand, is his origin story.
It's Amazing Fantasy, whatever number it was.
No, I mean Spider-Man.
The original. No, I mean,
the original one was in like Wes was saying, was in Amazing Fantasy, and then after Amazing Fantasy, in the first comics of Spider-Man,
issue of Spider-Man number 1.
They all dealt with his late high school years, going into college, and then from there on. Because I didn't collect those books, but I did collect Marvel Tales, and the other book.
They've never showed Spider-Man. Spider-Man's never been depicted as a freshman in high school. That's why they're doing this
without his powers. But what I mean is, has he ever been depicted in the comic books?
Mm-hmm.
No,
anything
in the
before
books,
he got bit.
Had powers. No,
that's what I'm saying. So then why do we need an animated series that's going to take you before he even got his powers?
Because it's for the kids. You got to remember, we are slowly starting to die off. So they have to do something to keep this newer generation. They have to keep it going because
wait a minute, hold.
Kids nowadays.
Wait a minute. Before that, see, I might have got that for somebody, but to my recollection, this is just me. I'm not the biggest comic fan, but you've had 3 brand new Spider-Man movies, right, with Tom Holland. You've had 2 animated movies. You got a show on Disney, right? You got the show on Disney Plus, shows on Disney. You got a show on Disney Plus. How many incarnations of Spider-Man do you actually need?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but from a company standpoint, they have to keep this thing fresh.
Spider-Man is their most popular character, especially among kids. But my daughter is 3 years old and she watches that Spidey and his friends, which is basically a kid version of Spider-Man. He's a kid, but he's still
exactly that's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm saying. So since you already have at least one show that depicts Spider-Man as a kid,
well, this show is
Spider-Man
not.
Before he becomes
this is. I'm gonna make one correction to what Kev said. It's not. I guess maybe what you could say is for kids, but not a kiddie show like Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans show. Adults can watch that, and young adults, But Teen Titans Go, that's a kid show to me, even though adults can still watch that too. But I look at that's made for kids.
It's definitely made for kids. That's
right.
My
Teen Titans Go. This Spider-Man, so you have that one show that was, I think it's just called The Amazing Spider-Man or Spectacular Spider-Man, whatever. That one has a young Peter Parker, but he's not super young. He might be still in school, but he's got like a whole team, right? And he's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this other stuff. But then you got that Spidey and his amazing friends where you got Peter, Gwen, basically the same characters from the Across the Spider-Verse. You got Peter, Gwen, and Miles, but they're all kids, like little kids. That's made for kids.
It's funny you say that. I put on Disney Junior, and that's what's on right this second. Spidey and his amazing friends. You got, and in this episode is Spider. Wait a minute, I'll turn my camera on for a second. This is what I'm looking at right this second. I'm not even kidding with this. All right, I gotta take this.
Take the filter off.
Yeah, let me see how to take the filter off.
Go to settings and then
just virtual background. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah. Look at Black Panther.
Yeah. So saying, look at that. He's a little kid. So why do we need another one?
Because this one is not gonna be specifically made for kids, but like that one you're watching, that's made for kids. My daughter loves that stuff.
Come on, man. That's company rhetoric. That's company rhetoric.
When she saw that, but here's the reason. The model has worked for years. My daughter knew who everyone was when I sat down and watched Into the Spider-Verse because of that show. She knew who Miles was. She knew who Gwen was. That's the point. That's the model. They prepare you for the youth. So then now the youth might go, they'll graduate from that Spidey show to watching the one that we're talking about. It hasn't come out yet. And then they'll go to the movies and whatever. It won't be confused or anything like that. It's just a model that's been working for years. I think it's stupid. Kev has probably complained about it more than anybody. He, and I agree with him. If I see enough, so what they're saying is, yeah, we're taking him back to his origins, but we're changing it. You're not gonna have to see Uncle Ben die again, I guess. But maybe you see Aunt May.
Could we progress further where Spidey is with Jay and they've been married for like a couple of years,
agree.
got a
and
kid?
I agree. I want that. And even I would have even taken freshman year of college. I would have taken that.
I would take that
at least
too.
You've moved on from high school. It's freshman year of college. I'll take that. But this crap, I'm not supporting this. I don't care about this. I don't care how different you tell the story.
It's the same story. We've seen it.
So no, so it's no Mary Jane, no Gwen Stacy. It's somebody else. It's probably going to be Felicia Hardy. Probably might be Felicia Hardy, who was Black Cat. That's probably who.
Which makes absolutely no sense, because now you're completely removing canon. And
well, they said they're changing a lot of stuff up.
Spider-Man won't be in New York no more. Now he'll be in Miami Beach somewhere getting the suntan.
He can't. Spider-Man can't operate in Miami Beach. Ain't nowhere to swing.
Right, so he got
nowhere to web.
He got to hop on buses
webbing
to be
palm
getting
trees.
around.
Palm trees ain't strong enough to hold a human body swinging from it. That's just not realistic. A human body swinging from a palm tree. You gonna bring that tree down to the.
Just stop. Like, listen. I get the whole thing of kids. If you didn't have that show already on the air, I was like, all right, cool. However, and there is a however. Look, okay, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. We've seen their incarnations in many things, movies, TV shows, cartoons. So I'm sorry, I don't need to see another version of Batman's parents dying. I don't need to see another version of Uncle Ben dying. I don't need to see that no more.
But in some iterations, don't die.
Right. But we are all very, very aware of that stuff.
Of their
it's
origins.
the other stuff. Like I just said, I want to see Spider-Man when he has a couple of kids with Mary Jane. Like even that show that you guys watch, Lois and Clark, the one that's on right now. It's set in the future where him and Lois have children and they're starting to develop the power. Okay, I'm interested in that one. But if you're gonna take me back you're gonna take me back to again, well, he's meeting Lois Lane for the very first time. We've seen it now at least 4 times.
And they got that show, My Adventures with Superman. That's a new animated show, almost done in Japanese anime. Huh? Yeah. And it's done in like it's almost like an anime style, but it stars what's my man Jack Quaid does the voice of Superman and Clark Kent in there, and it's once again but the story that's like well, the conservatives might call it woke Superman. But he's Superman or whatever, but Lois is like not a white woman. She's not black. You can't tell. She looks like she's some sort of Asian or something, or maybe like an Asian American. And Jimmy is black. He's a black guy, which they did in Supergirl. They made Jimmy Olsen black. So Jimmy is in the WB Supergirl or CW. Jimmy's black and Lois is like Asian American or something like that. And once again, they go over. They telling a different story of him coming to the Daily Planet, meeting them, and they all work together like a team, like they always did anyway, But yeah, she finds out way sooner that he's Superman.
Like I said,
whatever.
We've seen it enough You know,
Yeah, I
like
know. I
sorry,
agree.
sorry, people. I don't want to see
But
a
you
John
give us this,
McClane
but you don't want to give us
before
Man of
Die
Steel
Hard.
too. You don't want to give us
Right.
Man of
I don't
Steel
want to
too,
see
but
John
you want to
McClane
give us
before Die
this.
Hard. Right. I don't want
No,
to see
wait,
John McClane
I
before Die
disagree.
Hard.
John McClane
No, I don't.
you might be able to get a
No.
nice story with him before Die
He
Hard. He
doesn't
still was
become
a
relevant.
cop.
He was a
He was
cop.
still a
He was a
cop.
cop. But it
So
wouldn't be Die
you
Hard. It
could
would
do a
be
whole
John.
cop show.
I
Yeah,
don't
but I
want to see
mean,
that. You don't want to see it.
I think you could do that. You could see a prequel to Die Hard of a John McClane on the Force. That would still be interesting. It
What,
could be
rookies?
exciting. It could
John
be.
McClane as a rookie.
No,
mean,
well, he wasn't. Well, he wasn't
he
a
didn't say
rookie. He was a
yippee-ki-yay. He
veteran
said
cop.
yeehaw.
He said.
No.
He said I haven't. He said he had a couple of years of backlog.
I got 11. You got 11 years
criminals.
of yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
You know what I'm saying? So I think with John McClane, I think you could do a prequel series or prequel show, or I mean prequel movie of him it just as a cop. That's just like saying I don't want to see Lonzo before Training Day. I think it would actually be interested to see Lonzo before Training Day. Show me how he became the crooked cop that he became.
Here's how you
I got
and
that.
here's how you here's how you do John McClane. You do, because when John McClane gets off that plane, you can tell he loves his wife. He knocks his head against the door jamb like stupid. Here you are with your opportunity to try to mend fences, and here you go dragging the argument back to why does she have to leave. But in his mind, now you go back to his origin story of why he didn't want her, why he couldn't leave. He couldn't leave because he was on the case for a serial killer.
Yeah.
There's a story of John McClane.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know what I would do? That would be dope. I would have a split story. I'd show the road to from John McClane and Hans. I would show the roads, what Hans is doing before he showed up in Die Hard. Split the story between him and John McClane. They're never gonna meet, obviously, because they don't meet until Die Hard. But show what Hans is doing as being successful as a criminal until he meets John McClane, of course, right? McClane. So him doing his thing as a criminal, John doing his thing as a cop, but they don't meet, and the movie will end with John McClane getting on that plane to go to Die Hard, basically.
Okay.
And Hans doing what, preparing to take over that tower.
Okay, I can go with that.
Yeah.
But my point is, when it comes, maybe it's just with superheroes. Like, listen, there's certain things we don't need to keep saying. I don't, like I said,
of course, you don't need to
see.
And I don't even want you to retell it.
It's done.
I don't even want you to retell
if you want to retell the story, but even if you retell the story, do what they did in Incredible Hulk. Put that in the opening credits when the credits are coming on. You gave me flashbacks. Hey, this happened.
That was smart that they did that,
and we go right into it. That's it.
Go right into it. That was smart that they did that, so we didn't have to see no damn gamma ray thing again. Yeah, I mean they're finding creative ways to do it now, but I think they're gonna do that with the Fantastic Four as well. I believe they're going to find a way to. You may see Fantastic Four origin in flashbacks or something like that, but in all due respect, and then since we're gonna have to end the show at 10:30 now, in all due respect, the true origin of the Fantastic Four has never been shown.
Wasn't it in the cartoon?
Honestly.
Wasn't it in the cartoon?
In the cartoon, an old cartoon. Yeah. That's something different. But I'm talking about in live action, in the films, the true origin of the Fantastic Four has never been depicted in live action. So if they did it and didn't spend a lot of time on it, then I'd be okay with it.
Well, they kind of, the last Fantastic Four movie, they kind of
they completely changed it.
The first one, The first one, didn't they do it? They got exposed to the cosmic rays in space, and that's what. I mean,
That's kind of like what happened. Yeah, in the first one, they did show them and go up in space, so they did kind of debate. So if that's the case, then you don't need to revisit it. But the second one completely changed it. That's nowhere near how they got their powers. And it was corny too, the way they did it. That stupid shit with the pebbles and that's how it became the thing. And then the other one caught on
Black
fire.
Johnny.
His pod caught on fire. Oh, that was fucking stupid. And I'm just like, I mean, to me, the actual original story for once actually makes more sense because we don't know nothing about space. You know what I'm saying? Them being in space and running through some cosmic ish or radiation or whatever it can be, and that's what gave it. That makes more sense. Well, I don't know why people would want to change it in the first place. That makes more sense than anything. We know less about, we don't know nothing about space like that.
Nope.
So that makes sense. You could do anything you want damn near up there when you do that. So,
they were going to the moon. They were going to the moon and they got hit with cosmic rays. And that's how they got their powers.
Well, I mean, that's not, how do we know that's
what I'm saying. I can believe that.
Yeah.
You
can believe that. They got rid of it. There's nothing but cosmic rays out in space. Microwaves, cosmic waves, all type of waves. Shit coming from the sun rays, everything. So I mean, yeah, look, the sun, you sitting down here on Earth and the sun can burn your skin. Imagine if you're closer to it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But anyhow, it's cool. We're gonna wrap the show up. Good to be back. Check it out. I did do over the last couple of weekends. I've done some interviews and things like that. I'm gonna probably put something together and start playing those things on the show as well. We got some actors lined up that's gonna come through. Funny as it sounds, this may sound very late and very funny. Me and India were hanging out, and I was like, you never been on my show, India. She was like, yeah, I never been on your show. You never invited me. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, do you really need an invite to come to my show? She was like, yeah, I do. So long story short, at some point, you gotta bring India on the show. As I guess. So that is what it is, man. We went. I think that happened.
Yeah,
when we went to see the Equalizer.
I got a couple people I want to bring on the show.
Yeah, let's just set them up.
Still in October. Yeah. I think we should do like some horror stuff. I got a friend of mine's in the game.
Unfortunately, girl won't come back because she's supporting SAG. So Diane's not gonna come on.
Oh no, Diane Franklin can't come on. No, she can come on. She just can't talk about.
She can't talk about anything that's considered struck work, I guess. But anything that's from the studios that are being struck against, she can't talk about.
Oh.
Now she might be able to talk about like independent stuff that she might be doing. Her book, she could talk about her book,
tour,
I guess, stuff like that. But she's probably not gonna do. She knows probably it's gonna be impossible for.
Probably not trying to.
She don't rock the boat at all. You saw all the backlash that Drew Barrymore got for
which I think she don't deserve. I don't think she doesn't deserve it.
And now she pulled back. She's backtracked now because she was gonna still do the show, and that's what I'm saying, man. Everybody's watching and everybody is minding other people's business. So that's a whole nother story. Thanks everybody for joining us. Joseph, Tanner, what's up? Everybody that was in the chat room, everybody's gonna watch it. Make sure you like, subscribe, smash the like button, hit the bell so you can get the notifications, and of course, share this with your friends and comment as well. We'll get back at y'all next week, and we'll see you then. Peace.